Of course. No, lowlights is for sure also in the Great Lakes, where Roel was talking about. There were many security incidents, and I was too often the victim myself. A bit too often. I come back to that later in my highlights. And there was the Afghanistan killing. Not many people talk about it anymore, but it's definitely a lowlight. A serious lowlight, and somehow Sylvie and my life crossed many times in that sense, but also for Sylvie I know that Afghanistan is a lowlight. One of our friends lost his life there. Kismayo idem dito. Again, somebody that Sylvie and me, but especially Sylvie knew, lost his life there. And that also, it's a lowlight, but I want to mention it because I don't want them to be forgotten. We don't talk about them anymore. We see the nice, how you say that, plaquette in Afghanistan, or we don't talk about them actively anymore. And there's now 2 girls already for almost 2 years in Somalia, and we hardly talk about it. And I've been myself victim several times of security incidents, and you tend to not talk about it, but you feel it. Lowlights. You want to destroy the party with me?
Yes. Yes.
Because of these lowlights I got very ill, but it leads to a highlight. I got very ill in 2000. I couldn't take care of myself. I suffered severely from PTSS. And I was out for 1.5 years. And I thank MSF, and I go to the highlights. MSF supported me during this time. Sophie supported me during this time. I had 2 sisters, a friend, and a lady friend. Ah, Jules, you're there. I see you now, finally, in the back. Ex-MSF, he supported me. A couple of people supported me. Hans Schotendos left, he supported me. Some people supported me and I got out of it. That's great. That's a highlight. That after all these years, people and MSF doesn't let you go, let you down. Let's go to the highlights. Emergencies. Yes, it's a highlight. It's strange, but it's a highlight. You know? What Roel was talking about in the Great Lakes, it's one highlight after the other. You meet so many people at the edge of what they can do. And I was, of course, myself even over the edge sometimes what I could do. And it's great to meet these people. There's some of them here. Peter Grotendost. Is he still here? Hans is gone. They were both what we would call at that time procurement. And you could, in the middle of the field, order just 40 tons of plastic sheeting because people were cold, wet, whatever, in a camp. And 2 days later they would be distributed because these guys were there at Saturday, at Sunday, no matter what time, you could call them and they were there. They still are. I had a fantastic highlight in Cambodia. 2 years. Tessa. She was 5 months, she's standing there, and she's going to play if I shut up my mouth. Soon-ish. She was 5 months, a little baby, and we went to Cambodia. And I think she had the time of her life. She doesn't remember, she only remembers the pictures, and with that she remembers the stories. It was fantastic to be in a remote area. Oh yeah, and I was the first ever non-medical PC, I think. That's 20 years ago, 22 years ago. It was a success. I think. It was a success, of course.
International environment.
We cured more people than ever before. Just by seeing my daughter. That made him happy. 98 Phnom Penh. We had already for some years international regional logistics meetings. And I was there and I entered the airstrip of Phnom Penh. And there was a woman and I really thought she looked like a nurse. Not a nerd, a nurse. It was a woman, so she couldn't be logistics. She didn't have this arrogant look in her eyes, so she couldn't be a doctor. So must be a nurse. I asked her name and it was Sylvie. I think 2 years later, really, our relationship started. And another highlight from that, from the other highlight, is that we got a daughter. The real MSF one. Sorry, Tessa. You were just a few months before I started with MSF. Luna, she's not here. I'm sorry for that, because he's for sure the best dancer we have in the room. Look at my Facebook. Another highlight, what did I put? Well, there were many highlights, of course. Yeah, all the emergencies I said before. Iraq, I started there. And then we had the Great Lakes, where I met Roel as well. The Great Lakes was, for those that don't know, it's Uganda, Rwanda, the Kivus, up to Congo, Brazzaville, Burundi. It was 1 month after the other, a mess. I loved it, I hated it, I didn't want to go there, never wanted to go there. But once I was there, I met so many fantastic people that I thought this is what we do in before. Sorry. And I hope it's still happening at the same time now, because I'm not going to emergencies anymore. Pakistan was the real last one. 2005. Shit, I'm getting old. PIP. Anybody knows PIP? Anybody outside the logistics department knows what PIP is? Procurement Improvement Plan. It should be, this name should be changed. Because they have improved, so why would we call it PIP? Anyway, it was in a very, how you say it? Help me, Dave. You translate. Courageous plan. We would deliver everything within 85% of the delivery in lead time. And we do. Non-stop we do. Deliver in time. Thanks to Roel and his team, and a bit of the front office, of course, and the field, especially. The quality assurance. Roel, you want to talk about that?
Not that I can avoid it.
Since 2 years we are quality approved, to call it that way. We adhere to the international quality improvement assurance system, and we do it well. MOSP. Is Stijn already in? Olaf is there. I think they were the master brains behind MOSP. MOSP is the management of standards project. A new abbreviation. The funny thing is that, although hardly anybody knows it maybe in our office, in the other 4 offices, they are working on it. Paris a bit less, of course. But the other 3 are really taking it on board. Highlights. Barend Leeuwenberg. No, that's thanks. Barend Leeuwenberg, he's standing there. It's also a highlight, by the way. And Hans already left. Hans Schotendorf. They were the guys that hired me in the early 90s. And they gave me more trust than I deserved at that time. They thought they should keep me on board. They did. They did many things. They changed positions. Names of departments changed. But without them, well, how can I call them? Brothers? Barend even a bit of an uncle. An older brother at least. But fantastic guys that lived their whole life, and still do, in the same line of work. Other people I want to say thank you to. One is here, Yoshi. Yoshi, where are you? Yoshi and Michel Vargas, he's not here. Somehow my mail, I hope, didn't arrive. Yoshi, at a certain moment when she was supposed to leave, and she said, I'm going to do this 2 years, my successor, predecessor. She said, I'm going to do it for 2 years and then I leave, and she kept her word. But I couldn't find anybody else. And then Joshi and Michel discussed that maybe it should be me. And I thought it should not be me. I was fine in the field support unit. I'm not really somebody that likes to have power, I think. I have to be careful because I'm still a man, macho. So they asked me to take this position, I did. They trusted me. And I felt well with it. Maybe I've even done a reasonable job. Then I have to be thankful to the MT. It's you here and Marcel. There's a couple of others in the years before. Because in 22 years, I don't think I've ever been easy for an MT. Because I like to ask questions. I like to know why and why not. And what the fuck are you doing? And why can't you do it different? One of the biggest compliments I got only a week or 2 weeks ago from you, Floris. You said, you know, I have to be careful with logistics because once you guys have something in your mind, you don't let it go. Ever. And that's a compliment.
I hope so. Was it net? Oh, okay.
And then there's of course the department. The department I'm crazy thankful for, and especially worldwide. I had a fantastic goodbye party, although I was too drunk to speech there. To Logos. I see here Roel, I know from 94, I think, or 95, the first time. 94 you were in Bosnia. There's Olaf, first time we met, really was in PPD in 2001. There is more people, Jules of course from 83. Rob Simpson, fantastic guy. 2005, his bloody report about supply. That changed my life and kept me awake. Peter Gandos is still there. An old guy, he was there before me. He was there before me. And he is still standing there, although he is near to the exit. There's Piet Voorzaat. Piet Voorzaat is a guy from Katwijk. I come from Katwijk. Fantastic guy. At that time he was sometimes naive. I was also at that time. He came to my place. I was living in Katwijk in an attic of friends because I was just back from a mission, and he said, I want to talk to you, I want to know how it is in the field. And we had a talk and we became friends forever. And he had the most fantastic thing he had. We put a truck into a plane and he received it in Kampala. And he managed, because the doors were open still when he drove out of the truck, long story why, and he took all the wiring of the plane with him. It will never be forgotten. Especially not by the Russian skies that fly you since, or what was it? I'm trying to see if there's somebody of the other oldies. Nico? Roel? Oh, there's too many oldies. Katrien, she never was in logistics, a different time. Sorry.
Hello, Ben.
You're not, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, I will tell something about you. You remember? We walked around in a camp in 99 in Kosovo. No, it was the other side, Macedonia. And there we got this woman. She was a communication advisor, I think. At Roxy something, communication. And she arrived, well, I knew she would arrive, and I said, no, don't send her, because she's 6 months pregnant. But anyway, Wouter Kok sent her anyway, our new security manager, I think, by the way. And she arrived, and I was walking with this pregnant woman around the camp. She could blend in easily, I must say. It was a fantastic time. We had the greatest story, I think, about one mobile phone that saved a little boy's life, I think. I said, no, don't give the phone to him. They all want to make this call. And she said, yeah, but he's such a nice boy. And I said, okay, the guy can call, but he has only one chance. He has to give the number quickly. Everybody wants to make calls. And he tried to remember, he got the number right at a certain moment. And he left the next day with his family to Turkey, I think. Of course, me being technical and more managerial, you know, not so sensitive to what the boy wanted. I arranged KPN to have phone booths in the camp, which was much more effective than what Katrien wanted. So fantastic these days. Enrique Torres, I see now. Enrique Torres, I would like to beat him for my goodbye party. But it will be difficult. Hey Fried, are you still there? You're looking at my back all the time. I can't hear you, Fried. This fucking IT is still not working. We need one IT because it's only on your side. That's the whole problem, you know. The field talks, but we don't hear. Because we are not listening, we don't have the equipment yet. Oh, the phone. Fried, you want to say something?
Put on speaker.
Tell me. Oh, Fried gaat wat zeggen. Incredible ugly people. He said something about people and ugly, I don't know what. Oh, he said it was a very good speech of Flores. Is there something you want to say, Fried? Okay, he's not going to miss me at all. Let's not forget, there would not be... Can you say, do you do this when your motorbike is already back from your holiday? Anyway, talk about one IT because that has been an issue. Some of you know. Most of you maybe know. I think this guy started IT in MSF. And I think indeed we need one IT. There's no disc jockey fiddling around with the equipment. It's still not one IT. Disc jockeys are also part of one IT. I know that Fried and Simon are now traveling in South Sudan. Simon already went to bed with a heavy diarrhea 2 hours ago. No, he's new in the field. We told him. You know, IT with diarrhea is really something different. You think you have bandwidth, well you have a lot. Fried is leaving now. He finds There's no, my correspondent from South Sudan has left.
Diarrhea.
It's a signal I should shut up.
Diarrhea.
Okay. I shut up now. I'm not leaving, so I don't say really thank you. I'm going just in 2 months. I'm back. It's nice to have a free party this way. That's probably why I only got 2 bottles of wine here. And but what I would like to do is my daughter is here, and she's going to play with her band. Casper is a guy that I know from this age. He's one of the, he's a bass guitarist, bass guitarist. There is Fried has a message for you. Wat een spreker is die man. Anyway, Dirk is the drummer, he's from Katwijk. Where is Dirk? Dirk, you come, hi, Dirk. Ah, there he is. And there's Leon, that is my possible son-in-law. I'm not completely sure because. But it's not me. And they're going to play now. And I asked them, and I know they only, how you said it? Rehearsed, trained. One Saturday, a couple of numbers. One they already failed. Big Love. My son-in-law failed to play Big Love. Anybody knows Big Love? But he will do it one day, he said. Hey, guys, play finally.
We are waiting for this.
Thank you. Bye.